Platoon is a 1986 American war film written and directed by Oliver Stone. It is the first film of a trilogy of Vietnam War films directed by Stone, followed by Born on the 4th of July, 1989, and Heaven and Earth, 1993. The film, based on Stone's experience from the war, follows a U.S. Army volunteer serving in Vietnam while his platoon sergeant and his squad leader argue over the morality in the platoon and of the war itself. Plot. In 1967, U.S. Army volunteer Chris Taylor, played by Charlie Sheen, arrives in South Vietnam and is assigned to an infantry platoon of the 25th Infantry Division near the Cambodian border. Though the platoon is officially under the command of the young and inexperienced Lieutenant Wolf, played by Mark Moses, the soldiers instead defer to two of his older and more experienced subordinates, the cynical Staff Sergeant Barnes, played by Tom Berenger, and the more compassionate Sergeant Elias, played by Willem Dafoe. Taylor is deployed with Barnes, Elias, and other experienced soldiers for a night ambush on a North Vietnamese army force. A NVA patrol appears, leading to a brief firefight. Taylor is wounded while another new recruit, Gardner, played by Bob Orwig, is killed. Upon his return to base from the aid station, Taylor bonds with Elias and his circle of marijuana smokers while remaining distant from Barnes and his more hard-edged followers. During a subsequent patrol, two soldiers are killed by a booby trap and another by unseen assailants. Already on edge, the platoon is further angered when they discover an enemy supply cache in a nearby village. Barnes aggressively interrogates the village chief about whether the villagers have been aiding the NVA, and kills his wife when she confronts him. Elias then gets into a physical altercation with Barnes over the killing before Wolf pacifies them and orders the supplies destroyed and the village razed. Taylor later prevents two girls from being gang-raped by some of Barnes' men. When the platoon returns to base, Company Commander Captain Harris, played by Dale Dye, warns he will pursue a court-martial if he finds out an illegal killing occurred, leaving Barnes worried that Elias will testify against him. On their next patrol, the platoon is ambushed and pinned down in a firefight, and the situation is worsened when Wolf accidentally directs an artillery strike onto his own unit before Barnes calls it off. Elias takes Taylor, played by Francesco Quinn, and Crawford, played by Chris Peterson, to intercept flanking enemy troops, while Barnes orders the rest of the platoon to retreat and goes back into the jungle to find Elias' group. Barnes finds Elias alone and shoots him, then tells the others that Elias was killed by the enemy. While the platoon is extracting via helicopter, they see a mortally wounded Elias emerge from the jungle being chased by NVA soldiers, who eventually kill him. Noting Barnes' anxious manner, Taylor realizes that he was responsible. Back at base, Taylor attempts to talk his group into fragging Barnes in retaliation when Barnes, having overheard them, enters the room and mocks them. Taylor then assaults Barnes but is quickly overpowered, and Barnes cuts Taylor near his eye with a push dagger before departing. The platoon is sent back to the front line to maintain defensive positions, where Taylor shares a foxhole with another soldier named Francis, played by Corey Glover. That night, a major NVA assault occurs, and the defensive lines are broken. Much of the platoon, including Wolf and most of Barnes' followers, are killed in the ensuing battle, while an NVA sapper destroys the battalion headquarters in a suicide attack. Now in command, Captain Harris orders air support to expend all remaining ordnance inside the perimeter. In the chaos, Taylor encounters Barnes, who has been seriously wounded. Just as Barnes is about to kill Taylor, both men are knocked unconscious by an airstrike. Taylor regains consciousness the following morning, picks up an enemy rifle, and finds Barnes slowly crawling along the ground. Barnes orders him to call a medic, but Taylor does not respond. After daring Taylor to kill him, he shoots Barnes dead. Francis, who survived the battle unharmed, deliberately stabs himself in the leg and reminds Taylor that because they have been twice wounded, they can return home. As a helicopter carries the two men away, Taylor waves goodbye to Ra. Overwhelmed, Taylor breaks down sobbing as he glares down at multiple craters full of corpses, narrating how the war has changed him forever. About the film. The film was written and directed by Oliver Stone. Stone wrote the screenplay based upon his experiences as a U.S. infantryman in Vietnam, to counter the vision of the war portrayed in John Wayne's The Green Berets. The casting of Platoon includes Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, Charlie Sheen, Keith David, Kevin Dillon, John C. McGinley, Forrest Whitaker, and Johnny Depp. Platoon was shot in various locations in the Philippines. Director Oliver Stone, himself a Vietnam War veteran, aimed for a gritty and realistic depiction of the war. The production faced challenges due to its remote locations and the physical demands placed on the cast. The film's soundtrack features a mix of music from the 1960s and original compositions by Georges Delerue. The music enhances the emotional impact of the film, reflecting the era's cultural and political atmosphere. Platoon was released on December 19, 1986. The film was made with a relatively modest budget of around $6 to $7 million. It went on to become a major success at the box office, grossing over $138 million worldwide. The film received critical acclaim for its raw portrayal of the Vietnam War and its effects on soldiers. It won several awards, including 4 Academy Awards, and was praised for its realistic depiction of warfare and its exploration of moral complexities. Platoon is considered one of the definitive Vietnam War films. Its impact on popular culture and its influence on subsequent war films cannot be understated. The film's brutal honesty and visceral depiction of combat continue to resonate with audiences. While there were no direct sequels or an official franchise for Platoon, Oliver Stone did create a semi-autobiographical trilogy of Vietnam War films, including Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, 1989, and Heaven and Earth, 1993. These films explore different facets of the war and its aftermath from various perspectives. 10 interesting facts about Platoon movie. 1. Oliver Stone makes a brief cameo appearance in the film as the helicopter pilot who orders the napalm strike. 2. The performances of Tom Berenger and Willem Dafoe were particularly lauded, earning them Oscar nominations. 3. The movie poster depicting Elias with his hands in the air is a recreation of a 1968 photograph by Art Greenspon. 4. Platoon won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Oliver Stone. 5. Oliver Stone wrote the first draft of Platoon in 1971, and sent it to Jim Morrison in hopes that he would play the part Charlie Sheen would ultimately play. 6. Oliver Stone considered casting Johnny Depp for the lead role of Private Chris Taylor, but Depp was too young for the part and unknown at the time. 7. Prior to the scene where Elias half of the platoon is smoking marijuana, the actors actually did smoke marijuana. 8. Oliver Stone originally was looking for a Native American actor to play Sergeant Elias. When he failed to do so, he cast Willem Dafoe instead. 9. Oliver Stone had an actual RPG fired towards the end. This added to the effect's realism. 10. Oliver Stone at one point wanted Mickey Rourke for Sergeant Barnes, and Nick Nolte as the experienced Sergeant Elias. Both were offered the parts, and both turned them down.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting videos and don't forget to press like button and share.